Don't think, just do. I think that you are so intelligent, collective, that sometimes you overthink or you think yourself into submission. You become paralyzed with indecision. And then that's when that procrastination hits. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the most intelligent of us. Because you are so self aware, it's like you think that if you think about it more, sometimes there's too much introspection going on, just too much thinking, too much thought. Sometimes you can't think. You just got to do it. Like if you get inspired, sometimes that window of opportunity is only like a few minutes. And then next thing you know, you start thinking about it. And then you get demotivated. And then you get distracted. That's what they want. They don't want you tapping into your creativity. Collective, I just feel like you have this hidden talent. There's something that you're really good at. I just feel a lot of untapped potential, but sometimes we can get burdened and overwhelmed by the demands of life, having to make money, having to constantly be productive, right? We're told we had to be a productive member of society. We had to contribute. We have to do the mundane, go through the motions. And then it makes you want to rebel. It makes you want to withdraw into yourself, into your subconscious. But you're so creative. Your mind is so expansive in a way that other people's aren't. People do not have the creativity that you have. Their mind doesn't work the way that yours works. And what you'll see happen is you'll be punished for that. You'll be alienated, bullied because of that, because your mind doesn't work the same. You don't learn the same. You don't operate from the same frequency. So they'll make it seem like there's something wrong with you, and it just makes you want to withdraw further and further into your subconscious because it feels safe there. You have become your own safe space because you don't feel safe in the presence of others any longer. People don't make you feel safe. You are people's safe space. People vent to you, trauma dump, emotionally unload on you. You know, unpaid therapist, shoulder to cry on, because you listen without judgment. You take in information without there being some type of ulterior motive. Like, yeah, I'm going to use this against them in the future. Or I'm gathering intel so I can turn this around on them, so I can use this information to manipulate them. People know that you don't have any nefarious or sinister ulterior motives. That contributes to the burden. People burden you with their emotions, with their problems, without contributing anything to you. That's why there can be no co-creation or cooperative relationships, which would be really beneficial for you right now. It would be beneficial for them too. But they had to stop being triggered by you first. There's a reason why you withdraw into your imagination, into your subconscious. It's good to visualize the life that you want. Daydream, fantasize, I encourage it. I think more people should do that. Because most people are so disconnected from their imagination. Because it's like beaten out of us in our formative years. No, you shouldn't think that way. No, it's unrealistic. It's too risky. You should do it the way I did it. You should be more realistic. But sometimes your reality is just not giving. It's not what you prefer. You know you want bigger, better. Your mind is so expansive. You can see the possibilities. Intuitively, you can feel that you're meant for for greater. You're meant for a better life. So sometimes we do withdraw. And it's good to visualize. It's good to be solitary and be okay with that. Enjoy your own company. But sometimes it just becomes a burden. It gets to a point. It gets to a point where you just feel overwhelmed and burdened because you have to deal with everything alone. Like a lot of times, even if we're around people, it's like we still feel alone. Even when surrounded by people, still feel alone. Because you're the only one you could trust at this point. Because you've done the inner work. You've done the healing. But it's such a burden. Just being you, your soul is like weighed down, is heavy, is burdened by this 3D reality. You see her carrying all that. She can't even see anything that's in front of her. See, there's like a town with a rainbow in the distance, but she's into this desolate kind of desert under the hot sun amongst the stars, right? So then, you retreat and you withdraw because you are your own safe space. Because you've done the work to create a safe space for yourself. A judgment-free zone. Because I feel like people have taken advantage of you in the past. Especially with finances and resources, people will absolutely use that to control and manipulate others. They got it like that, and they see that you don't got it like that, and you're coming from a place of need. Things just aren't going so well right now, especially financially. And a lot of people are going through it right now. People can't find jobs. If they do get an interview, they don't get no callbacks. A lot of people don't even get rejected. These jobs don't even get back to them. A lot of people can't get their benefits. People are having trouble affording basic necessities. Everybody's feeling burdened. Everybody's going through it right now. So that it's really the haves against the have-nots. Because it's been orchestrated to be that way. Because if you're somewhere in the middle, you're fucked. A social worker once explained it to me that you're the working poor, and that's the worst place to be. Because if you're lower class and you're in the bottom rung of society, is actually better than being in the middle, because then you have the opportunity to take advantage of government assistance. You have the opportunity to take advantage of charity and organizations that are doing community outreach. Things like Section 8, welfare benefits, what have you. You're actually in a better position. And you're incentivized to stay in that position. But if you want more for yourself and you're trying to make more for yourself, but you don't know the right people, you don't learn in the same way that other people learn, so you don't qualify to benefit from higher education. You don't get along with people the same way that typical people get along with people. You don't buy into the small talk, the manipulation tactics that people use on each other in order to form these relationships, these connections, if you want to call it that. Is shallow, is surface level, and you don't buy into it. And if you don't buy into it, you're not going to be elevated or celebrated. You're going to be cast out in friend groups, in your family, in the workplace, in the community. If you don't go along with the program and you don't have connections and you weren't born with a silver spoon, you'd be better off staying on the lower poverty end of the frequency. but you want more for yourself. You don't want to operate on the poverty frequency for longer than you have to. And people see that and they take advantage of that. They know that you're capable. They know that you're qualified. They know that you're competent. But they're going to see that you're on a lower frequency through no fault of your own. You just don't know the right people. You just weren't born into the right family. You're differently advantaged. You don't learn the same way everybody else learns, so you're uneducated in the typical sense of the word. Because people will say like, no, they'll like using me as an example. They'll be like, no, you're not uneducated. You know, you speak very eloquently. You appear to be well read. I mean, and then I'll be like, no, I mean like from society's point of view, if you do not have a master's from a prestigious institute of education in a relevant field that makes over 6 figures and you are not a high earner, you are not considered educated. And that is going to be a big disadvantage in a world where that's incentivized and celebrated, especially if you are able to pick the right school, the right major, and get the right degree so you can get into the right school. I mean, you can get into the right career and become a high earner and become a quote unquote productive member of society. Not everybody has that opportunity. Financially and mentally, people's brains do not all work the same. So that's when people are like, oh, well, just go back to school. You can get loans, you can get grants. Sometimes that's not even the problem. Some people do not learn in the same way that other people learn. They cannot sit there and sit their ass down in a classroom and pretend to give a shit about things that they don't care about. They just can't. And if you're not able to think and learn the same way that other people do, you're considered a failure. And people will absolutely take advantage of that if they have been blessed with the, I guess you want to call it the neurotypical brain. They go along with the program because their brain is programmed to do so. But you're not programmed. You come from a completely different dimension where you know that most things that they teach in college don't matter in real life. They're just wasting your time. They want to drain you of your time, drain you of your money, put you in debt, and drain you of all your resources so that by the time you graduate with your piece of paper, you're effectively brainwashed. You're indoctrinated. Same exact thing as being raised in the church. This information or this way of thinking or this belief system has been like force fed to you in such a way where when you come out on the other end of it, you're either indoctrinated or you have religious trauma. And sometimes both simultaneously. So it's no wonder why you feel burdened. Because when you are different, you are not celebrated. You are alienated. You are punished for being different. So it makes you want to retreat into yourself. Sometimes you get paralyzed with indecision. You start procrastinating. Focus on what you can control. That's it. That's all you can do. Because if not, you're constantly going to be at the mercy of people who use their resources and their financial freedom and their abundance. They're going to use that as a weapon against people like you. Now, if you're gainfully employed and you have everything that you could always want and you're incredibly happy, then consider that a blessing. This message isn't for you, okay? So I pray that this message reaches the right people. But the people that I'm talking to, the energy that I'm picking up on is that you ain't like the rest of these people. Your brain doesn't operate the same way. You don't think like them. You don't walk like them. You don't talk like them. And you don't act like them. So you're going to have to go about things in a different way. The only thing that you could do is focus on the things that you can control. That's it. Because Spirit has seen you have pure intentions towards the people that you are drawn to and the people that are drawn to you. The friendships, the connections with family members, the relationships, the people that you encounter. You do not have nefarious intentions because you don't see the point of doing that. It's a huge waste of energy. Anything that's like a waste of time, a waste of energy doesn't make sense. I don't see you doing it. Spirit, is there anything else, any other advice, anything else you would recommend for the collective? Because they don't want you thinking too much. They want you to do what you can. Sometimes you can't always do what you want, so you got to do what you can. You can't control every outcome or circumstance, but you can control certain things. There's all of us have something that we can control, even if it's just our thoughts. Okay? So if you find yourself in a negative loop, which you're introspective and creative and intuitive and you're intelligent, so what you're going to do is you will find yourself overthinking. Every intelligent person goes through it. Every introspective, intuitive person goes through it, where you get caught in a loop, because sometimes it's like it's a blessing and a curse because you see and feel everything. So it's like once you learn the truth, this is why they say ignorance is bliss. A lot of people would rather remain blind because it's easier. Studies have shown the smarter and more intellectual someone is, the more depressed they report being. Because you're smart enough to know the truth, and the truth is often grim. But what we can do is we can make a little slice of paradise for ourselves. Even if at first it's only in our own mind. They'll discourage this. They'll say that you're paranoid. They'll say that you're delusional. They'll say that you're mentally ill. They don't understand the way that your brain works. That does not mean that there's something wrong with you. It means there's something unprocessed with them. Because they're thinking in a very human way. You're thinking in a very higher dimensional way, which is what you're supposed to do. But it's going to be difficult because you're here on Earth. So it's going to feel like an uphill battle. If it ain't working, put it down. Put down that burden. If it once worked, but it's no longer working, it's not for you anymore. You have something better waiting out there for you. But sometimes we got to get out of our own way. Like you see how she's holding on so tight to all them wands. She can't even see in front of her. She don't know what's going on. But sometimes we can't just face problems with brute strength, because you are strong. You are strong, collective, stronger than the average everyday person. And you're willing to go through things that other people would never think about going through. But it's time to unburden yourself. It shouldn't be this difficult. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be like this. After everything that you've been through, you deserve to live a life of prosperity, abundance, success, and happiness. You deserve that. So continue believing that you deserve that. Continue with the visualization, envisioning the life that you want, and then come back down to earth. Get grounded and get real about the practical things that you can control. The cleanliness of your environment. Pivoting from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. Less scrolling, more reading. Less watching, more listening. Less consumption, more creation. When inspiration hits, sometimes you can't think about it. You just got to do it. That's what Spirit's encouraging you to do, because they don't want you to live the rest of your life being under somebody's control. Because as long as you don't have your own resources, you are at the mercy of people who do have resources. Because it's going to get to a point where you're not going to be in a position to refuse assistance. And not everybody offering support and assistance is doing so with pure intentions. They're doing it for bragging rights. They're doing it so they can hold it over your head. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me. You know, they only have that because I helped them out. Spirit doesn't want you in that position. Your higher self doesn't want you in that position. You're not meant to be in a position where you're at somebody else's mercy. That's just not you. If it's not working, go about it in a different way. If it's always worked, there's something better out there for you, and it's not working for a reason. Sometimes we got to put down burdens that are not ours to carry. Any trauma that you may be holding on to, let it go. Anybody that you need to forgive, forgive that person. Not because they deserve it, but for you. You don't deserve to continue to suffer because this person is unhealed and decided to abuse and traumatize and mistreat you and misuse you. That's their cross to bear. That's their burden to carry. Whether they want to carry it or not, that ain't got nothing to do with you. Forgiveness really ain't got nothing to do with them. It's about you. It's about you putting down that baggage. And you just gotta say, it is what it is. It's all gonna work itself out. Cut that person off with grace, with love, not with resentment. Don't vow vengeance. Don't worry about none of that. They ain't gonna feel bad. Not in this lifetime. They're not gonna atone for their sins. They're not gonna make it up for you. They're not gonna suddenly have an epiphany. You know what? I was wrong. No, it's too late for them. But it's just getting started for you. Put down any baggage or burdens that are not yours to carry. Only focus on the things that you can directly control. And then in doing so, it's going to regulate your nervous system little by little. It's not going to all happen in one day because that's not the way healing works. But you take one little step per day as far as the things that you can control, you're going to start to see your nervous system getting a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more regulated, because you are proving to yourself that you are doing everything that you possibly can to make your life better, to see success, to see abundance, happiness, and prosperity in whatever way that means to you. Life is never hopeless, although I know it seems that way. Spirit has to know that when you get the abundance, when you get the resources, you're still going to remain true to you. You're not going to seek vengeance. You're not going to be cocky or arrogant or live within your ego or be prideful. Or if you catch yourself doing it, they know that you're going to catch yourself doing it and immediately pivot and redirect. I think sometimes, unfortunately, I wish it wasn't like this, but I think it's necessary sometimes for life to humble you. Sometimes you just got to get humbled. That's why people are so obsessed with humbling you because they feel like you need to be humbled. But sometimes life does that for a reason. It's because the path that we're going down, we couldn't see the destination. But our spirit guides, our higher self, they have a higher perspective. They can see where that path was leading. And maybe you thought it was the right thing for you, but if it ain't working, it's not the right thing for you. So you got to go with it. You got to go with your intuition. You got to go work with your circumstances. Don't keep doing it if it's not working. If it doesn't feel good anymore, don't keep doing it. It's not for you. There's something else that you got to do. And your intuition knows the thing that you have to do. We all know the thing that we have to do. Wake up a little earlier. Eat a little better. Keep our environment a little bit more clean. Forgive whoever needs to be forgiven. Try not to ruminate on our negative circumstances or bad memories. You know, overindulgence, overconsumption. We all do it in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes therapy is needed. Talking to a mental health professional, if that's something that you have available to you. Don't be afraid to do that. I think spirituality and mental health work can work in tandem. If that's something you feel as though that would be beneficial for you, there ain't no shame in that. If you needed life-saving treatment for a physical ailment, would you not go to the doctor if you were able to do that? Same thing with mental health. Mental health is the most important thing. Without mental health, you got nothing. And these people are going to try to do anything that they can to destroy your mental health. But we can control our thoughts. That's one thing they can't take away from us. They can't take away your connection with God. They can't take away your intuition. And they cannot control your thoughts if you make the conscious decision every single day, every moment of the day, to gently pivot your thoughts to something more prosperous, positive, and preferable. Okay, collective? I was going to ask Spirit, is there anything else? I feel the collective's going through a lot of pain right now. I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. And that can make your spiritual journey very discouraging because it's already an isolating journey. What do we do about that Three of Swords? Oh, people can... This isn't all your energy. Because that King of Pentacles, that was never your energy. That was always somebody else trying to hold resources above your head. This is people like getting off on seeing you struggle, getting off on seeing you fail. And this is why a lot of people don't reach out for help. Because they don't want to give these people ammunition. People that already don't like you, people that have already actively participated in sabotaging you. They love seeing their handiwork. This is like a criminal that sticks around at the scene of the crime. Somebody knows that you're trying to take your life back. You're taking the steps towards healing the relationship with yourself. And it just points a spotlight at the fact that they're not doing that. So as much as they try to ruin your life, collective, it's not really surprising that these people are still miserable. They don't even want you to have the possibility of happiness. That's fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. This is definitely not a sugar-coated reading. I kind of wish it was. Spirit, is there any type of hope or silver lining when it comes to this? You're gonna be saying yes to new opportunities. From pain will come pleasure. You are going to get a new opportunity. Spirit wants to make sure that you have separated yourself. You have divorced from old bad habits. This is why tests and temptations come in the moment you decide that you're ready to elevate. Because the whole universe can feel it. Negative energies, positive entities, they can feel the shift within you. Because when there's a shift within you, it shifts the whole universe. This is why you can shift the energy in a room. That's why when you walk into the room, everybody turns to look at you, they get real quiet, and then they snap their head back real quick and resume conversation. But in that moment, you shifted the energy in the room and everybody felt it. That's why people get off on your sorrow. They don't want to see you happy because they are not happy. So they can't benefit from your happiness, but they can benefit from your despair. They're getting off on your sorrow, which is why they don't want to see you gather up what's left of your dignity and self-respect after they have completely destroyed your reputation, ruined your life. They hate to see you picking up the pieces of your heart and putting it back together. They want to see you heartbroken. They want to see you downtrodden because it perpetuates the narrative that they have been telling themselves and everyone else. You are the bad guy. You deserve bad things because it's a projection. They're the bad guy. They deserve bad things. But they don't want to admit that to themselves because it's easier to blame you. You will be saying yes to new opportunities. You will be presented with a new network of individuals if you're open to it. A new way of doing things. A new path if you're open to it. Spirit needs to know that you're open-minded right now. That's why they want you to put down that burden of things that have not worked. Because you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. That's insanity. You have acknowledged the way that these people have hurt you, and you've taken the steps to forgive. You visualized and envisioned the life that you know that you deserve. The version of yourself that's living your dream life. Do they look different? Are they doing something different? Behaving differently? Do they have a different schedule or routine? These are things that are important to examine. And I feel like you've taken the steps. You have a very close connection with your higher self, with your subconscious. And it's because you have left behind things that no longer matter. People that have proven that they don't care about you. You put all that love, that care, and that compassion into yourself. Self-improvement. Spiritual hygiene. Continuing to be a good person when you really have no reason to be. Continuing to exhibit kindness in a world that has decided that it is going to be unkind to you. You're going to have new opportunities present themselves, but you got to present yourself because we all know opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. So basically, Spirit wants you to make yourself presentable. Especially the weather's starting to break. It's starting to look a little bit more sunny. The weather's starting to get nicer. It's starting to get a little bit warmer. The seasons are changing. The universe, the earth is inviting you out. You will get opportunities, but they're not necessarily going to come knock at your door. Eventually, you got to get out of hermit mode. Eventually, you got to be okay with being perceived. I know you have every reason not to. I know. Trust me. This is coming from somebody that doesn't want to be perceived right now. This is like Joffrey. He doesn't ever fully show himself on camera, but he's like halfway there. He's just like me. Want to be perceived, don't want to be perceived. Spirit doesn't want you in that limbo forever. Straddling the fence, up in the air. Spirit, God, the universe has a plan for your life. And you're aware of this plan because you know you deserve a better life. Now, your current circumstances are going to make it hard to believe that, and it's going to make it seem like it's farther away than what it really is. But all of these traumatic things happen for a very good reason. You were being redirected for a reason. Things had to happen the way that they did when they did for a very good reason. Sometimes we don't have the capability of seeing it from a higher perspective because we're stuck here on Earth in the 3D. So that's why we can only control what we can control. That's why Spirit wants you to unplug and disconnect as much as you possibly can. This is coming from somebody who just last night, hours ago, was scrolling on TikTok and Threads all night. Because it's just so goddamn addictive. And it's just so fucking entertaining. Catch yourself and gently redirect. That's all you could do. Don't yell at yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Joke about it. Whatever. It is what it is. You're only human. Acknowledge areas that could use improvement. We all have things that we could improve on. Every single last one of us. Nobody's perfect. Not a single one of us is perfect. Work on what you can work on. Control what you can control. And you will be presented with new opportunities. Present yourself. Whether this is showing up in person to job opportunities, whether this is integrating with communities that could potentially help you and elevate you, even if you're shy, even if you're introverted, even if you've been traumatized by connections with others, put yourself out there anyway. Because the opportunity is not going to come knocking at your door. You've always wanted to make content, post the fucking content. Fuck what these people got to say. Post and ghost. Don't read the comments. Don't look at the notifications. You know how hard it is for me to not click that little notification bell? And the longer you don't click it, the more the notifications pile up and the more tempting it gets to click it. It's none of your concern. Cynthia Erivo, after one of her Dracula performances, I believe, they interviewed her and they said, what do you have to say? What do you think about the people who are saying negative things about you in your performance online? What do you think about that? How do you deal with that? How do you handle that? And she said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, but she said something like, in that soothing like accent of hers, she said like, that's not for me. It's none of my concern. It's not for me. It's none of my concern what these people think about me. Because I know what I'm bringing to the table. And I know I'm putting my very all into this. So put your all into anything that you can control. Okay, we all have things that we can control and things that we can't control. Don't worry about the things you can't control. Focus on the things that you can control. And you will be presented with new opportunities because I feel like you're ready. This card is you're ready. You're ready. This is everything that has gotten in your way in the background. But this is your silver lining. This is your beacon of hope. This is your sign. This is your confirmation. You're ready to put all that shit behind you because there's no use crying over spilled milk because there's 2 new opportunities right behind you, but it's up to you to look at them. Present yourself to them. If she would turn around, that's why I came out in reverse like that. Because she's ready to turn around. Because if she turned her head, she would see the rainbow. She would see this beautiful rainbow coming out of the ground. And the 2 opportunities that are still standing up, waiting to be discovered. That new life of yours, that new timeline, that dream life is waiting. It's not going anywhere. That life that you envisioned and visualized, it's not a fantasy. That's your future. You're clairvoyant. You could tell and feel intuitively what's for you and what's not for you. Put down the burden. Put down, give up. If it feels like a fight, give up. That's the strongest thing you could do is give up when it feels like a fight. Shouldn't have to feel that way. Opportunities that used to be for you, people that used to be there for you, the type of people you used to put up with, leave them in the past. Give up the fight. The heartbreak, the heartache, the betrayal, people stabbing you in the back, leave it in the past. Forgive. Send them along with love. It's no longer your concern. You know you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Even if the person treating you with dignity and respect, the only person treating you with dignity and respect is yourself. That's fine. You lead by example. Okay. Opportunity presents itself to those who present themselves. So go ahead and make yourself presentable and go ahead and get yourself out there. Okay.